Welcome to the Coffee with Karen podcast, a weekly chat show discussing everything from holistic health to current affairs from a mental, physical, and spiritual perspective. Get your weekly cup of positivity with a sprinkling of woo-woo.
It's Tuesday and this is going out live on Mintwave Radio. You can just simply ask Alexa or go to the website above /Mintwave-radio and see what else is on our schedule for the rest of the week. If it's via post, there's not just mine on the network. Same page, you'll be able to see the schedule of all the other podcasters on our network. Please feel free to leave a review, follow, subscribe to any that take your fancy. Now, today's episode is 146, and today we've got Amy Hager. She's the lead coach at the Content Personality Club, hosted by the Joyful Business Revolution. And we're going to be talking about marketing burnout today, which I think many suffer from. I'm your host, Karen Roberts. We just have a platform to help coaches get their message heard to the people who need it. Now, Amy is a true marketer and community builder at heart. She uses her years of experience and expertise to help coaches, consultants around the world build businesses that they love at the Content Personality Club. Now, she's a yoga instructor, so she's lived 12 lives already because she's had so many experiences. She's raced cars, been a radio DJ, built sales and marketing teams, and much, much more. First of all, welcome to the show, Amy.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to dive in with you today.
Awesome. So marketing burnout, that's the thing. But first, if you'd like to share with the listeners a little bit about your backstory, how you got to be doing what you're doing now.
Yeah. So like you said, I actually started building community at a really young age, ripe old age of 9. I was racing go-karts and I needed sponsors to buy tires and gas. And so when I really would go out and talk to people, I really learned how to position myself as something different, something that would bring more attention to their sponsorship, and utilizing my community building personality, getting them more exposure because their sticker was on my go-kart or whatever. And so that journey led me into a radio and TV career. And then I left the Midwest and joined my husband. He was in the Navy, and dove more into publishing and working for a business journal. And the one thing that I had found being new to a new community is you really get to find and build your pod, right? And a lot of times being able to introduce yourself, what you believe in, what your mission is, and things along those lines really helps create those strong connections. And we moved to Washington, D.C. after that. And so I started working in the nonprofit space, building out sales and marketing teams and strategies, whether it's in the membership department or maybe it's a product service or certification type organization. And so landed in the last couple years really on my own and really spending intimate time with people building their business marketing and communications and selling strategy. And I think what really draws me to this work specifically, especially with coaches and consultants, it's that ripple effect, Karen, right? It's like, I know what I'm helping this holistic healthcare person do in their marketing messaging. They're then going to heal moms who are going to be able then to help their children live better lives and stronger lives. And we're building that bigger future, right? And so I really love the ripple down effect of the work that I do and helping people build sustainable, joyful businesses and really tapping into their strengths in building those businesses and just letting the rest go, because we do not need any more to-dos on our to-do list.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's because of the way things are right now. There's so many different social media platforms to choose from. You got Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok now, and all Snapchat. My kids are on Snapchat a lot. It's just, do you feel that many are just spending all their days doing the wrong things? That's not really going to bring in the money. It's still important to have a social media presence, but
Totally.
do you think that's like a bit of a safety net because they might feel more comfortable playing around in Canva,
Yep.
creating pretty designs
Right.
rather than actually doing the real work?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think like what I typically find is someone's, oh, I've tried marketing and I'm just not that good at it. And I think everybody can learn to be a marketer, and you are really your best marketer. I hear a lot of times people are like, oh, I just wish I could hire this out. No one knows in your heart why you're doing what you're doing. And people can see that you're really good at it and the impact. But really, when you look at the soul of your business and its mission and its vision, a lot of that is you. And so really being able to create strong messaging, I think is the foundation. And then if you want someone else to put together a pretty Canva graphic and post this thing for you out on social media, yes. But really that deep messaging that people are going to resonate with, that they're going to decide if they like you, if they love you, if they don't like you, maybe you're not for them and they're going to go away. That really has to come from you.
So yeah, totally agree. But it's when people are suffering from burnout, let's take us through that. How does somebody know if they're suffering from marketing burnout for starters?
Yeah. So that feeling of I've tried everything, I'm showing up everywhere and it's just not working, and I don't ever want to do marketing again. That's a pretty clear sign that you're on the marketing burnout toot train. It also trickles down into other decision-making factors of your business. If you're having a hard time deciding, oh, do I bring someone on? Do I not bring someone on? If you're having that decision-making overwhelm or fatigue and you're sitting on a pokey fence on a lot of things, that usually is a sign, again, going back to marketing and selling as a business owner should be your top priority, that those two things are burning you out and then it's trickling down and not helping you and making other decisions. And I think the other thing that I hear is I'm just not good at it. I wasn't born to be a marketer. I wasn't born to sell. I don't want to be that sleazy used cars salesperson that you see when you go to a car lot dealer, right? So I think those are some feelings and some things that are happening usually when it's a clear sign. All right, you're burning out for marketing. Let's take a step back. Let's look at what you're doing and let's streamline and make it a lot easier for you.
And do you think that, like you said, it's the messaging? So, so many people, are they actually burning out are they actually doing this stuff, first of all? Because quite often they might be thinking about doing it and
right, and they never
procrastinating about what to do and what to post and where, but actually they're still hiding because they fearful of putting themselves out there because, I don't know, fear of judgment, whatever. So that in itself, but there's still something going on because it's still the thinking process. So they're burning out from that.
And I think too, like I've got one client that he is a massive creator and he creates all the time, but he's barely getting anything out there because he's also a perfectionist. And so really knowing that you can't say the wrong thing to the right person and getting over that hump. And sometimes we actually have to detach from the results of our marketing. And I think people think of marketing as the end all be all. Someone's going to see your marketing, someone's going to buy your product. And that's not how it all works, y'all. It really isn't. And so when you're thinking about your marketing and your messaging, what I love to focus on first is building that aligned audience. And in your aligned audience, there's going to be collaborators, those who maybe you do workshops with, or you've written a book together, or they're really great because they work with your client before you should be working with your client. So it flows down. Those connectors are the people who are, again, not your client, but connecting you with ideal clients and know the work that you do. You have those watchers who are sitting there watching and hearing and believing everything that you're saying. And a lot of times they come out of the woodwork when the time is right for them to work with you. And then you have those cheerleaders. Just think of the mom or the aunt or the high school friend that's out there commenting on your post. And sometimes you're really embarrassed. You're like, come on, mom, you do not need to comment again. But you need those. So when you're thinking about your messaging and marketing, if you focus on building that aligned audience of collaborators, connectors, watchers, and cheerleaders, that's where eventually your ideal clients are going to be coming from, is one of those pods. But a lot of times when I'm talking to people, they're like, I put out this message and no one bought. And that's not necessarily the end goal of marketing messaging.
It's never worked for me. And this is the thing I do. Ideally, yeah, I'd love to just put out content, somebody go to my website and buy. I know that's, and I'm sure it happens to people.
Yeah.
However, there is that missing link of there's got to be, at some point, you've got to do some kind of active prospecting. You've got to reach out in some way. It doesn't have to be spammy or salesy. If someone's showing up all the time, don't leave it. But again, I think isn't that sort of the mindset of this sort of safety net? As I was, if I just keep putting content out, people will just buy my stuff. And
Right. They'll just hear me. And
yeah.
And I think too, the other thing that really gets people hung up on, and you alluded to it a little bit earlier, so I want to bring it back, is there's so many different platforms to choose to be on, right? You could be on 40 platforms and try to do them all. That's burnout right there, managing that many accounts. And so what we really like to help people uncover is, what is their content personality type, and build a marketing strategy from there. And so what the content personality tells you, there's a quiz. If you Google content personality quiz, it will come up, or if you go to joyfulbusinessrevolution.com, the quiz is there. But what this quiz is going to tell you is energetically where and how you should be creating content. And so there's 5 content personality types. So there's a written content type, live in person, visual, audio, and video. And so you do not need to do all 5. You really should just be focusing on the one that you scored highest in. And when you let the rest of that go, when you think about, if you are a video person, when you think about letting audio go, when you think about no longer writing blogs, when you think about no longer having to go to network events because you're video and visual, gosh, like you don't have to use Canva ever again. Like, just think about all of the things on your to-do list that you can cross off and be like, no longer. And build that strategy around where your strength is, and stop trying to be the jack of all trades and mastering it all, because it's not going to happen.
Great advice. Yeah, this is why I do what I do. All these people writing books, and maybe one day eventually, but it's not on my to-do list because I'd rather say it. For me, it's just easier to just speak it. But and then others are going to shy away, and there's no need to be forced into doing video if it's not your thing. Although, do you not think that where do you know, really, is it that you're staying in your comfort zone? Because you're going to feel nervous about doing it initially. God, if you told me I'd doing video, doing this 10 years ago, I would have died. I run away from photographers. I don't like, you never see really many selfies of me. And when I'm out, I'm hiding from the camera. I've got something about camera. I'm like, I don't photo. I'd rather do video where people can actually see me rather than actually just plain photo. We all have our little comfort zones of things we don't like. But then if I hadn't have gotten over do it and become comfortable about being on camera or doing something like this, then I would have stayed not doing it. So how do you know if that's your style, or whether it is something that, because we all go through this learning curve, and it might just be the comfort zone.
You haven't experienced it yet. Yeah. And we get that question a lot. And so one, I do believe your content personality will change as you change and grow as a human. But if we are looking at the immediate need of, I'm not reaching my ideal audience, I don't have clients, and I'm freaking burned out and tired, we have got to start somewhere. And so it's a really great starting point. And I always say, once you've really mastered, and that's a really loose term, but once you've mastered your content personality type and creating from that place, you've gotten consistent on the one social media platform that you're choosing. And I always say, where do you want to be? Because your clients are everywhere. There's 60-year-old men watching TikTok. All right. It's not just those young teeny bopper college kids, right? There are plenty of people on Facebook. There are millions on LinkedIn. Don't get me started on Twitter and Instagram, right? Your people are everywhere. And a lot of times, I think what I see the biggest mistake entrepreneurs, coaches, and consultants do is they start to try to build this ideal business for a target market. And that creates the falling out of love with your business. Like, you created this thing because it brings you joy and you're really good at it. Let's keep leveraging that. If you love Facebook, let's be on Facebook. If it's not your jam and you want to be over on LinkedIn, let's be on LinkedIn. If YouTube is where you want to be at, let's talk YouTube. But make sure that you're really picking a place that you want to show up in, because if you're picking a place you don't want to be in, you're going to resist it. You're going to dread it. It's a to-do and not a joy. So I do think like you got to start somewhere if you're in that burnout mode. So scaling back, figuring out the one thing now, and when you can stay consistent and showing up, and when you can really enjoy that content creation process, all right, that's when we can expand the strategy. Maybe you go to another platform. Maybe you do start a podcast or an interview series or something like that, right? But until then, don't overwhelm yourself.
Overwhelm. It's a biggie, isn't it? That's it, because it is. It's so how do you, so you've got your personality type, so that's going to tell you what sort of content you're going to put out, what type.
Yeah, right.
But where do they, so other than, okay, where they're at now, how would somebody know which would be the best social media platform for them?
Yeah. And so when you get your answers, so again, if you've gone and taken the quiz, you've gotten your answer, you're like, oh, I'm live in person. Oh, I'm video, whatever it is. We do have suggestions on the preferred platforms that you should be that content personality type shows up the strongest in to give you advice, right? And so I'm a live in person content personality type. So doing these interviews, my jam, I can see you, I'm feeding off of your energy, your personality. When you smile at me, when you smirk with me, like I love it. I also do really well teaching in person. And so I was teaching earlier this week at a local economic development center. And that's really what I look for, is I look for the opportunities where I can be engaged with somebody and have a conversation, or I can be in front of a group and really focus the conversation and guide that conversation. But a written content personality type is going to be that person who's going to be great at having a blog. Maybe they have put together an ebook. Maybe they do have an amazing case study type thing that they're putting out for their opt-in or things along those lines. And so once we look and really, and I think there's some playful experiment in there. So you're probably not going to get it right away. And so it is really experimenting within that type and utilizing what you know about that content personality type to say, all right, if I'm written, I'm going to try starting my own blog. I've always said I was going to do it, but I never did it because I was too busy going live on Facebook. It's an energy suck, right? And so think about when you figure out your content personality type, the two questions I ask is, what am I doing right now in this type? And what am I doing that's not in this type that I can go ahead and let go and stop? And if it's clear that you're doing something already in the type, and the next question would be like, do I actually enjoy doing this? Do I enjoy showing up in this place? And is it something that I look forward to doing? Again, if the answer is yes, let's keep going down that path. If the answer is no, I think there's 171 different platforms and different ways with individual content personality types to get your content out there. And so let's pick one and let's playfully experiment there for the next quarter and see, one, how does it go? Do you enjoy it? And two, does it start getting momentum where you're having conversations, it's creating the engagement, and you're building that aligned audience that you're really looking to build?
And it takes a while. It's not going to happen overnight. And do you think that people can switch, they jump ship too quickly? Because again, I don't know, maybe come into this sort of arena thinking because there is no ceiling, right? But they could be being sold to that, oh yeah, that means you can get here in that amount of time. And it's a business. Any business where you're dealing with customers, clients, real people would take, just like anything, just like a bricks and mortar service based business is going to take time to build up your clientele. Do you think that it's some people they're giving up too soon because their expectation was
Very-
over, than what actually happened, because, it's building on the know and trust, and
Right.
that's going to take a while.
I think it takes a while, but also I think the thing that we see a lot of people advertise is, especially in the I help you with your marketing space, is the quick overnight success. Oh, my client just sold 180K over 3 days. How long have they been working on this campaign?
Yeah.
How bad did it go the last 3 years in order to get to this point, right? So I do think there's more layers to stories than what are being told out there. And I think the other thing too that I really truly believe, like deep in my core, is your messaging and marketing is going to absolutely be different than my messaging and marketing strategy, even though we both do messaging and marketing, right? And so what works for me isn't necessarily going to work for you. And so there isn't a template that I can really give you that says, post on Monday at this time with your blog, go live on Tuesday at 4 o'clock because that's when your people are going to be there. That, sorry, those who
It's
are
not
really,
going to happen.
it's not going to happen. And so again, what makes your business and unique and different is also what's going to make your marketing and messaging strategy unique and different. It's going to be you. And so by really allowing yourself to build that strategy around you, your likes, your loves, and what really lights you up in this world, is going to give you, I think, the chance to experiment and play, which a lot of people just do not realize that marketing is a big experiment and it's something that we get to play with. And I think when you do have people guiding you and conversations with others who are trying to market their business as well, that's super helpful. So I always say the best messaging was never built in a silo. Like one person did not come up with the best messaging in the world. It came clear through conversation. And in our content personality club, we really make sure that there is the container and space to really have those conversations, to think through the words that we're saying. What flows easily? What do I get hung up on? What, as someone who's listened to me, is this too technical? Am I getting too weedy? Am I not giving you enough of the emotion feel factor? And so by really coming together and working on messaging in a collaboration and in a community, especially when we're all looking through it through that lens of joy, I really think like that is the first step into building something that is sustainable for you and your business in your marketing and messaging strategy.
Love that. Yeah, love that. Because this seems to be the issue with so many coaches out there that are struggling. I love what you said about, the instant. I don't know about you, but I've actually not come across somebody who went from here straight to there without any problems. And hang on, but they had a team of 100 affiliates actually selling their programs. So out of that money, actually, what did they get? There's a big difference between net and gross, So they're not giving the whole story. And I get it. You've got to give hope to people that this is going to work. But at the same time, it doesn't help in the long term because people are expecting a different result when they get it. And it's such an intangible, isn't it, with marketing? Like you said, there's so many moving parts.
Exactly.
And, what you said really right at the beginning about people don't want to be salesy. And in response to that, they actually do nothing.
Yep, exactly. They pull back and do nothing. Yeah. No, exactly.
Which that's definitely not going to work.
No, you can't do nothing. Again, I don't know if you know Field of Dreams. It was built in Iowa, my home state. If you build it, they will come. The movie lied to us all.
Yes, totally. And I've been there and done that or tried that. And if only I knew then what I know now. I don't come from a sales background at all. We had our own fitness studio in the Algarve, Portugal for 8 years. And I wasn't used to any of that. Whatever I'd done, I had my audience. I'd never had to market. And all of a sudden it's, no, we'll just do it and turn up and be passionate. And we did get there in the end, but oh my goodness, was it a hard slog? And it only took total persistence or maybe just stubbornness to actually get there, because we didn't know how to, we didn't come from that thing. And
Exactly.
is that the issue? All these people coming into I know all they want to do is coach. Ideally, just spend my time doing the coaching, but the other side of it, if you're in business, you're in sales, and you got to get over it. But that seems to be, and I'm with you there. My mindset was sales. That is definitely a dodgy secondhand car salesperson, which is a terrible thing because they're all not like that either. No. But I suppose, are we all just trying to step back from that? Ideally, we want things sold for us. So is that going to happen?
And I think you nailed it. As you're growing your business, when you're starting out, it is just you. So you do get to do all of the jobs and explore all of them and how they feel and what they look like to you. And as you grow, all right, what doesn't bring me joy? And can I find someone to come on my team? And I'm not going to lie, I was using the content personality wheel prior to actually coming to the Joyful Business Revolution and teaching on it and finding the club. I was using it to build sales and marketing teams in the nonprofit space. And the last time that I had done this was with a standardized construction contracts coalition. It is absolutely as boring as it sounds. But get this. So the CEO was the only lawyer on the team, and he was a written content type. There was already an administrative assistant, and they were visual. So yes, Canva graphics and putting together newsletters and putting together the website to make sure it looks good. Rockstar at it. I'm alive in person, so woohoo, I get to go around and speak on stages about these things. And I'm not a lawyer, so there was always an interesting caveat to every presentation I gave. We had a video person that wasn't directly on the team, but who was a volunteer. And so we were able to utilize that skill set. And we were really missing audio. And so when I started to interview for the audio for the next position, I only interviewed people who scored audio on the quiz. And I ended up hiring a college dropout who was selling cell phones at the mall. And he did really great on his first interview over the phone. Second interview came in person. He was so squirmy. You could just tell he was like not comfortable being in a room with me. And I don't feel like I'm a scary person, and I'm not super aggressive. So I was like, oh. So I did my third interview with him with the CEO on the phone, and he rocked it. And so when we brought him on board, the organization was making about $750,000 a year and selling standardized construction contracts. And it took us 18 months, but we grew it to $1.2 million with a single legal-minded person on the team. And the rest of us did not love law, contracting, construction, any of the things. And so I think what the beautiful thing is about it now is I get to help people who actually like started a business that they really wanted to start, that was like in their gut to tell them to do. And so it's cool to be able to give someone that tool and that empowerment to really lean into what they're good at and continue to go with that and really explore what that looks like for them.
And so then would you advise people to then, when they're getting up to that next level where they're going to outsource somebody who's an expert in one of the other areas?
Do not hire all live in-person people. Make sure you're balancing out your team, just like you. I know there's Myers-Briggs, there's Strengths Finders, there are Enneagrams, like there's a million other things out there, right? And so I think when we look at marketing, just can't be one person's role when there's an actual team. Let's look at the content creation based off of your strengths. And when we're trying to bring someone on board, all right, our next hire, their role is to focus on this, but it would be really nice if they were whatever content type. And just make sure that you're not hiring the same type that you are, because then you're just double dipping the efforts. And my business partner, Shannon, and I, we're both live in person people, but we have a team with 7 other people on it. So we have someone, when you call and she answers the phone, like her voice is the most soothing voice in the world. Like I can listen to her all day. Perfect audio. We have the written content type. We have a visual content type. We have someone who loves doing video work. And so it's really making sure that you do have that balance of everybody who's on the team. And because we teach the content personality types, frequently Shannon and I will dabble in another type just so that way we can have some deeper experience. We started our own podcast over a year ago, but the podcast is always, there's two people on it. It's never just one person alone because we're live in person people. So for us to just go by ourselves and talk and be audio, it's not going to work. It's going to become a chore. And so there are ways to utilize your content type and then feed it into the other types as well. But again, focus on getting consistent in the one first and then go from there and grow from there.
Brilliant. And so for people who are, because as we just said, when you're starting out, you are wearing all the hats, and it's like you've just basically bought yourself a full-time job, actually, with extra hours, unpaid. Yeah. But it's, when do they go to that next level? Because it's a scary place, isn't it, when you first do it? Because you're like, yeah, but what if?
Yeah.
Oh, and then I can't. But to grow a business, you don't want to be running things just by yourself anyway, especially if there are, because at the end of the day, there's going to be stuff when you're starting out that you don't particularly like to do, but it needs to be done. Yeah. How do people, when do they know when they're ready to? It's a risky thing, isn't it? Yes. But when would you tell people, say, come on, it's time to step up and go to that next level?
Yeah. And I think when people get there, I think when your revenue is coming in consistently, that's a really good sign that you've got things working well for just you and the way you're operating. And so that's when I would start exploring bringing someone on. And when I brought on my first team member, we started really small. And it was literally just 1 or 2 tasks a week that would take something off my plate. And then that was it. And then as the relationship grew and as I discovered more skill sets that this person had, and I was like, all right, would you like to try doing this? And we did a trial period of a few weeks here and there of trying things. Some things went really well, some things flopped. But it's okay, because then I think that business itself, as we go, there's going to be failures that we get to learn from, and there's going to be successes that we also learn from. But I would say that making sure you have some sort of consistent revenue in there first, and even if it's just a small amount, it's enough to pay you and someone else maybe a few $100s a month. Start there. You do not need to hire a full-time person all the time right away, right? Start small and build up, just like you did your own business. You didn't eat an elephant in one bite. You took little bites of the elephant to get through it, right? So you got to really think about those baby steps and really evaluate. And we do this at our Joy Money Retreat. What brings us joy in our business daily, in tasks and chores and things along that wise, and then what doesn't bring us joy? And we look at it in our life too. And sometimes, to be super honest with you, when we take stock of business and life and we blend them together, because guess what? They are together. We really find that actually it isn't a business hire. It's hire someone to help at home. Like a lot of times I find it ends up being someone to do house cleaning, or someone to do grocery shopping, or mowing the lawn, or a chore of the home, instead of actually something in the business. And so when we start bringing in and bridging that life business balance, and what does it look like for you, because your life and business balance is going to be different than my life and business balance, a lot of times we see those first hires actually not being to support the business. It's being to support the lifestyle.
Yeah. And because it is about getting that work-life balance, which I've still not found yet.
All discovering it as we go.
We're all working towards it. The idea of that, again, it was sold that 4-hour week. Nah, I can't quite see that anytime soon. Yeah. However, and I think I'd get bored anyway, really. 4 hours a week. Come on. Yeah. Come on. You've got to be slightly more involved than that. But do you think that many, again, I think it's, obviously it does come from fear, but when they are starting out, do you think it's good to have that bird's eye view of where the business is going, so that they have got goalposts to aim for, because many that I speak to seem to be stuck in that, just managing everything by themselves.
Yep.
And is it ever going to be sustainable? When you're excited about a new business, I've put in plenty of hours, and I will continue doing so, but I know it's not forever. If I thought that this is going to be it for the next, I don't know, how long have I got?
However many years, right?
But without that, they're going to stay stuck, aren't they?
And I think, yes. And I think, too, the other thing that we really work through is from the start, you're probably going to maybe hustle and work more, but also building in those boundaries from the start, so that way you're not having to go correct bad habits that you've built throughout. And so if you're a new entrepreneur starting, sometimes it's a little bit easier to work with you, because you haven't built the bad habit of, all right, I'm going to check email after dinner every night because I feel like I didn't get to it during the day, because my day was built with seeing clients, doing my marketing, having get to know you chats, having sales calls. And the one thing that I think is really important is, if you feel like you don't have that work-life balance right now, sitting here today, Tuesday, whatever day it is, at whatever time it is, take a pause and ask yourself, how can I be doing this differently? And is there something that I can actually let go? And is there a boundary that I should be putting into place to really help me get into that better headspace, but still allow that creative flow? Because I do think some people really feel like, oh my gosh, like once I get out of the shower in the morning, I'm super creative, I want to go ahead and dive in. Well, let that happen, but know that it may not happen every day. And so if it doesn't happen today, what then do you fill that time with? And I always ask myself every morning, the first 5 to 10 minutes of my morning, what is the top revenue generating activity that I need to do for the next 5 to 10 minutes? And then I eventually go out throughout my day. And if I land on, it's something like, I need to record a training or something like that, or I need to, if I'm a written content type, I need to write my blog for next week and the newsletter and stuff. I know that's going to take more than 5 to 10 minutes. So I make sure I schedule that for later. But every single morning, what revenue generating activity can I do for the next 5 to 10 minutes that will move my business forward? A lot of it ends up being relationship building, reaching out and reconnecting with people, checking in with people, having, someone said they had introduced someone to me. Have they done that? Nope. I'm going to follow up with them and say, hey, I would really love to meet. Do you mind sending that email introduction? And try to give business owners tips and tools of how to manage that, how to keep it organized, how to have system and processes into place. And I think that's the other thing too, when you're looking to bring someone on in your business, making sure that you do have some systems and processes so that it is a little bit easier for them to follow, but also then allowing them to adjust and grow and change those systems and processes as they really dive into the role and dive into your business, is another really good sign. When you feel like you have your systems and processes in place, maybe they could be improved upon.
Ish.
That's probably a good sign too, that you're ready to bring someone on board to really help you.
And can that cut sometimes, again, when it is your own? At the end of the day, you've only got to look at any successful business. There's delegation, right? It's never one person. But isn't it funny that when somebody's there, and I felt like this in the beginning because it's like my baby. So it's difficult in the beginning to trust it, to entrust it, to delegate the things to, rather than thinking you've got to do it by yourself. But again, that is a sort of stuck mindset, isn't it? And
yeah.
You want to grow, so you've got to delegate out. But yeah, I love that. I hadn't thought about the different personality, obviously in certain aspects, but the different, getting different people in for different content. I think that's because I don't do written. Copy is definitely maybe the next thing that I need. Don't go to my website and judge me on my copy, because you won't find any.
Well, and that's the other thing too. One thing when I get a non-written type and they're like, what the heck do I do with my website? I can't just have it be full of video. I'm like, let's start there. Why not? If you're a video content personality type or a live in-person content personality type, let's start there. And maybe it is, all right, fine, you're going to give someone a transcript and they're going to clean it up and actually make it into usable copy for your website. But again, the original words were created in that flow of where you're at most energetically wise. And I think the one thing too about the content personality type, I'm going to tell one more quick story if you don't mind, of actually the founder, Shannon, who founded this. She wrote a book. She was an English major in college. She was a teacher. Like, girlfriend loves to write. Okay. When she took her own content personality quiz, she kept scoring live in person. She's introverted. She does not love tons of people like an extroverted person like me. I could do this all day. And so she really didn't believe it. She crunched it up and threw the quiz away because it was back in the day when there was no internet and we were working on paper. And so really when she kept tapping into writing as her way to connect with people, and yeah, she got to a certain point in her business where it worked and she was attracting some people. But when she finally let that go and realized written is something that she enjoys doing and it's fun, but it isn't energetically where she attracts and sells and like really builds that audience. When she tapped into that live in-person content personality type, she decided to teach twice a month in her own community and then look for other areas to go teaching the other 2 times a month. That's when her business actually skyrocketed. And so now she's not writing. We actually have a written content type on the team who will take what we say and what we do and turn it into a blog piece. And so sometimes your content personality type may not necessarily be something that you think of, but when you score it and you're like, but I love writing, but I'm this thing, that doesn't mean you have to stop writing. Writing can still be a passion. You can still do your journaling every day because that keeps you grounded and centered. You could be writing thank you letters to clients and thank you letters to collaborators and things along those lines that bring you joy, but may not necessarily be that forward facing, what's selling, what's attracting your aligned audience, and what's bringing people into your space. So there are times that a passion project may come out of a other content personality type, but really leaning into that main content personality type to be your front lead of how you're getting your marketing, your messaging, and working with people is really kind of the new magic. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I suppose that ties back to what was said earlier about sometimes maybe that was just the safety net. The writing was, that's what she felt she was good at.
Yep.
And no, that's it. And actually, so yeah, some people could be surprised at what comes out of that.
Exactly.
And yeah, like you said earlier about people still answering emails at the end of the day. And I've got to say that is my pet peeve. And so I'll just officially apologize if I don't get back to you via email. It's the last
thing on the list
that I want to do. But yes, when you say about setting your boundaries from the get-go, and I'm sure I've been through this marketing burnout and feeling like I've got to respond. I've got to... Right. And so, up till late at night. And yes, I would say for me, the moment I actually know, they can wait.
It can wait.
Just because.
Okay.
But it is this whole thing that we're in with the social media. I've been like, they can see that I'm on because people would message and you think, I've got a tab open, but I'm actually on a call or I'm actually recording a show. I can't answer you. But again, do you think that's the problem? We live in this age where people just
know when and where we're at.
Oh my goodness, there's no escape, is there?
Exactly.
So they're expecting a response. And if you don't respond in 2 minutes, they're going to get offended. But no, cut off. In the end, it is back on. I have to admit, it's back on my phone. But in the end, I actually took the apps off my phone because I thought, no, that's my time. Enough. Yeah. No, I've done my work for the day. I'll deal with it tomorrow. But where does that cut? I suppose the difference between working a job and having a boss.
There you go.
But then you're Although these days, again, even in that environment, people are still expected to answer emails and calls outside of hours, which really should be a no-no.
Oh, I agree.
But again, yeah, do you think that's enough? You don't have to get back to people. Do you think even email, you might have a, because it might not be my thing.
Yeah.
Is email dead, or is it
no.
alive and thriving?
I think email is alive and thriving. And the one thing, when you think about marketing and email, so we've talked about typing emails and responding to emails, right? But tying it back to marketing, really, when you have an email list and someone has shown interest of being on your list, like that is where a lot of the effort and time should be. Because one, you own that list. You don't own Facebook, you don't own LinkedIn. Like, what happens if you've built on an audience there, but it goes away? And again, I'm not saying it is, but what happens if you end up in Facebook jail for 2 or 3 days? Like, that happens, and you can't communicate I mean, I feel like at this point, almost all of us have been thrown in jail, in Facebook jail. And so really, like, you want to make sure that you do own that data. But going back to that boundary setting and not responding to emails and not taking phone calls, and people can see I'm perusing Facebook, but I got 17 DMs from people because I use DMs a lot to coach my clients and things along those lines. I think it's openly communicating what your boundaries and what your expectations are. And I know Shana, my business partner, her creative day is on Sunday. You ain't getting me anywhere near my computer, and I barely know where my phone is on a Sunday. Like, I'm usually out playing, starting fires, boating, you name it. And so I know when I come back to work on Monday, when I come back to my computer on Monday, yeah, I'm going to have some messages and stuff. But we've set that expectation of, I'm probably not going to respond. And the other thing too, and I used to work in Washington, D.C., where everybody is important and everything's an emergency. Guess what, y'all? We are not saving lives. None of us are actually paramedics or heart surgeons saving lives unless you are a paramedic or you are a heart surgeon. There is no reason that anything is so important or anyone is so important to talk to that you should be throwing yourself out of energetic alignment and taking that phone call or answering that email or responding back to that DM. You set your own boundaries. And you get to respect those boundaries.
It took me a long while to get that. I'm not going to lie, but yes, it's interesting, isn't it? That actually, I wouldn't use the excuse, I'm busy. I was busy being busy, not necessarily very productive. And it goes against our conditioning, doesn't it, Amy? We've been taught you've got to work hard to earn a living. If it's your business, you've got to put the hours in. Yeah. And burnout's not a pretty thing. And I think I've been there a few times in different industries, actually. But when you do actually take time out for yourself, which is why so many people are teaching self-care. Who knew that you could create a business teaching the importance of self-care. Go figure. But
the deprogramming and the deculturalizing of what we've been taught and what we were brought up in. And I remember one of the last places that I worked full-time at, like, I had my own team, my own department, but the president and CEO believed that unless you are sleeping, your email should be on. And if I email you, you should respond. And so I told them, I'm telling my team to take their email off their phone. If they're on vacation, they need to be on vacation. We can figure it out. And if we can't figure it out, we're going to wait until they get back. I didn't last long there, but
I wish. What did we do? What did we do before? What do we do before?
At our fingertips. Exactly. We waited till the next business day to call because someone was going to be in the office, or we left a voicemail and that person got back to us when they were back in the office. So I do think, like, the blessing and curse of technology and having everything at our fingertips at all times, it does mean that we as human beings need to step up and take control of our own boundaries and take control of our own lives and our own energy. And if we continue to let technology lead us and say, I'm a buzzing phone because you have an email, I'm a buzzing phone because you have an email, then we've got problems.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
definitely. Do you
really
think we're going back though? I suppose it goes in cycles. In the beginning, it's all exciting and it's
right.
the thought of more opportunity, more opportunity, more opportunity.
Right.
Whereas I think, I may be wrong, but I do think it seemed because there are so many people out there, like I said, teaching self-care.
Yeah.
Never realized that we shouldn't need to
Yeah. Be told.
be taught. Yeah, but it's obviously needed. It's
Yeah.
obviously needed, people,
Really, really
because
is.
we've gone too far one way,
Yep.
and
Exactly. We need
actually
to kind of come back.
we've realised that you're going to be far more productive
Oh,
rather
yeah.
than that. And actually, if you were to sit back and actually, what have you done today?
Yeah. I'm sure there's always something that you wish you would have got done today. And maybe if I just stayed working another 30 minutes, but also just think about the clarity that you have when you're in that burnout point or you're at that tired point. Like you're not putting your best work out there. And I'm not saying that every piece of work needs to be your best work either, but give yourself the best chance to be as good as you can absolutely be and leveraging those strengths. And
Yeah,
doing that from a
that's
place of tired isn't going to come out.
no, it's never going to come out, is it?
And I think the other thing that I feel that we have discovered more and more is, you know what? People aren't as judgmental and as expecting as maybe we think. Like we think they want to hear back from us right away. And if they don't hear from us until tomorrow, they're not usually mad at us.
No, it's
They're like,
ourselves. It's always
disappointed.
us. It's always
Yeah,
us, isn't it? It's
exactly.
our own perception of it, the stories that we are
Right.
telling ourselves, and it ain't necessarily true.
True. Yeah, exactly. And I think if you are building your business from the start and it hasn't been, again, a habit that you've already created, I love giving emails 24 hours before I email. One, I'm usually in a clear headspace to think through to respond back thoughtfully. But two, it doesn't set that expectation that I'm available at any time and all the times to the people. And giving that space to breathe. And I'm a big fan of checking email in the morning and checking email at the end of the day. And if I meet with somebody who I'm doing a sale with at a sales call at 10 o'clock and in the morning and they want the information from what we talked, and I say, all right, I'm going to send you an email. But I say, I probably won't send it till the end of the day, if not tomorrow morning. And they're okay with that. And some
Yeah.
people are like, you're in sales and you don't send an email instantly after you're done off of that call. You're missing out. Come on. They're going to take 24 hours to think about it. Let's be honest. They're not going to
Yeah.
instantly purchase. And if they were going to instantly purchase, they probably would email me back and DM me right away.
Yeah. And do you not think I think those days of these high pressured sales things, I hope we're over
I hope
that,
we're on the other
because
side of them.
who wants buyer's remorse? You don't want people to get
Right.
buyer's remorse. You only want to work with them if they're ready to work,
Right.
and that's it. So I hope things are changing, and I do feel that people are being in more alignment with what they're doing. And so I think I could be wrong, but I do see a change
Yeah.
in that side of things. So for you, to the listeners out there, if they're thinking, okay, in fact, I think I'm going to have to go and take that, because I might have it
Here's what your
completely
result
wrong.
is.
It's not going to be writing anyway, definitely. I think I'm going to be so shocked if it is doing copy. No, it can't be. But yes, I know you did say it right at the beginning, but I've completely forgotten. So how do people get access to that quiz?
Yep. If you literally Google content personality quiz, it is going to pop up. But if you go to joyfulbusinessrevolution.com, that is the first thing you will see on our website. And I would love to see what your results are. Usually I get a copy of everybody's results. And a lot of times I reach out because I am curious. Is this shocking to you? Are you using your content type? I want to have a conversation and make sure you understand what you just discovered about yourself. And I don't want it to paralyze you. Yeah, I'll probably reach out. I will probably reach out and ask you if this is surprising or not.
I'm really intrigued now. I would have thought it's going to be live in person. That's my first thought. And then the next would be video. Because again, I didn't know I'd be doing this, and it has come from lockdown. I wanted to do live events. I was just launching that, but obviously pivot, because that became the new buzzword of the lockdown. We had to pivot. Anything else going on though, Amy? Anything else you want to share with the audience?
If you're thinking like, wow, I've never thought of my business through that lens of joy, what is this possible? At the end of May, we are having a workshop, and we're going to really focus around building that joyful life and joyful business, how that goes together and what that looks like for you. And when you're at thejoyfulbusinessrevolution.com, if you click on events, you will see that workshop that's coming up at the end of May.
Fantastic. It's been lovely having a chat with you. Very interesting topic, and I've definitely been there. Hopefully I'm through it, but I've definitely been there, probably more than once.
Don't make yourself wrong if it circles back, and know that you'll get through it. And by reaching out and getting support and being in conversation, that's the first step to do.
There you go. That is it. So thank you so much for your time today. And to the rest of the listeners, I will be back on Thursday with a Coffee with Karen. So bye for now.
Coffee with Karen podcast, a weekly chat show discussing everything from holistic health to current affairs from a mental, physical and spiritual perspective. Get your weekly cup of positivity with a sprinkling